All right, we are live on YouTube. I thought I sounded better than I am sounding right now, so we'll see how long we go here. We'll go on Amazon next here, and we'll get cooking. So there we go. All right. Okay, so today we're going to look at one of these film scanners. This one's been around for a while. And in case you're wondering what happened to my voice, my cute little third grader infected me with COVID. So I've been out of commission for the whole week. It's been awful. Actually, it wasn't as bad as prior experiences with COVID, so I'm doing a little better. But yeah, my cute little third grader got me. Oh, it looks like it's got an HDMI output. We'll have to play with this. So what this is excuse me, is a film scanner, but it's designed to work faster. So what happens a lot of times with these film scanners, especially the nice ones, this one's like a consumer grade one. The nice ones take forever to process. This one doesn't take as long, but you might have an image quality issue as a result. Now, this is like a newer version of one that I looked at a couple of years ago that I was not crazy about insofar as its image quality is concerned. So we'll see if this one does a little better. Please peel off this mask. Okay, so we'll peel off the mask here. Now, this is a Kodak film scanner, but I should add that this is Kodak because this is a licensed product. And the company that makes these actually now makes the all the HP sprocket stuff too. So there's your factoid of the day. We got a USB-C cable. We have a user manual, which we are not going to look at until we need to. And we've got some, I'll never turn my overhead camera on. We have some trays for the film. And I actually have a bunch of negatives. I found some old, probably from the last time I did this. I've got like a bin of old pictures right here. And some of these are like 30 or 40 years old. Check this one out. Isn't that cool? This is my Newton 110 and a LaserJet 4, probably from 1994. So you got like a 30-year-old Polaroid there. Isn't that cool? This doesn't do Polaroids. It only does negatives and slides. But it does a number of different formats. So the formats it does, I'll pull up the box here, 35 millimeter, 110, 126, and 50 millimeter. And slides, 135, 110, and 126. So that is the breakdown. So yeah, I'm feeling much better today. Like today's the first day where I felt like I could come down and actually do something. So that's been good. Wasn't as bad as the last time I had this affliction. But my yeah, I'm still in rough. I'm in better shape. I feel better than I sound. But my little 8-year-old gave me COVID again. I've been loading up on Gatorade to keep myself hydrated. Because I had my fever broke the other night. Oh my God. I woke up, it was like I was like drowning. It was crazy. I've never sweated so much in my life. But that was like encouraging because I'm like, oh good, I'm at the end of this. But yeah, it hit me around Sunday night when we were watching the Super Bowl. I was like, I'm feeling achy. And then I went, I was like, let me go take my temperature real quick, like during the halftime show or something. And I came downstairs and I was like, oh, I got a fever. But yeah. But it's fine. I've had it a couple times now, so it gets it's less and less severe each time. But it still knocks you out for a week. I mean, it wasn't like so the first time I got it, which I never could confirm that it was actually COVID, but I'm pretty sure it was after CES 2020 when I came home, and I was sick. Like I was like 104 fever sick. It was brutal. So that one was rough, and then. That was the first go-around that I thought. I could never confirm it. And then then I got it, or the first confirmed case was in 2021. right before I was supposed to go to CES, I came down with it. And that one was really bad. Like, it wasn't like life-threatening bad, but it was not pleasant. I'm just looking at the trays here. So 110 film. So I guess you put this in here, clamp that down, and slide your film through. So I have some 110s. I've got some 35 millimeter, both black and white and color. So we'll experiment with all of it. We'll do the 35 millimeter first. That's what most people are going to have. So what you do is you got your tray. You slide the tray in here, and you do it in real time because it's got a built-in digital camera, 22 megapixel. So yeah, I'm doing better. I'm fine. So it was this is my little one. She's so cute, but she got me. She got me. Yeah, I should do that. Maybe I'll be like my new thing. I can do some. Hey, baby. Right? That's like my new shtick. All right, let's plug this thing in and see what it does. What's nice about it, well, first of all, you have to get an SD card. So I happen to have one here. And what's funny is this is the card I used the last time I tested one of these things. So I have photos I can compare it to with one that I didn't think was great. I don't think the one I looked at last time was a Kodak product. Now, apparently this can also output HDMI, which if we have time, we'll try that out. All right, so let's turn it on. Let's see what we get. Hey, Roger P. and Recipe Bob are here. So it's not a touch display. I think you got to use this thing up here. Let's see. Okay, so you select your film type, galleries. I guess the gallery is what's on the card. Wonder if it's going to see anything in. All right, how do you select it? Oops. Oh, it's reading off the pictures that may have been taken before, I think. All right, so let's do film type. And we're going to select a negative. And I have some black and whites here. So let's try these first. Just got to find a good one. So back in high school, I did a lot of black and white photography, so these are coming from some of that. Now, these I had professionally developed just because it was after school had ended. All right, here's one of the beach of my brothers. Maybe we'll try this one first. So I should be wearing gloves to handle this, but they're not like works of art here. All right, so I'm going to slide this in. I don't know if it's emulsion side down or up. We'll find out when it goes in. All right, so we'll put that in here. So we'll say black and white negative. 135 film, 35 millimeter. All right, I guess it's ready to go. So watch how quick this can be. See that? It's like done. So I have to hit the button to scan it, of course. But then, so I can do a photo, then I can push the negatives through and get another one. There's the sky. There's a nice beach scene. And there's one more on here. So that's pretty neat. So what I'm curious about, because I think I have some other scans of this one from before. So it looks like we've got, let's see if I can scroll through. Okay, so we have some brightness controls here. And I think this is something where you'd probably want to adjust it on your computer after the fact. But maybe you start off with the best setting you can get. I'm just trying to see what our options are here. So there's, oh, you can actually adjust the RGB on the black and white. Okay, so we got that. What else do we have? So I'm going into this blind without reading the instructions. That's part of it. Well, let's take a picture, see how it works. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. Oops. And now it's taking an image. So it's done. So now it's on the SD card, presumably. So maybe we'll do a few more. Let's see what else I have in this round here. So that's my brother from 1994. So this was like 30 years ago. So now he's, so he must have been about 7 or 8 in that one. And now he's in his late 30s. My goodness. Yeah, he's 11 years younger than me. Let's see what other good black and white ones I have in here. Let's take a look. I thought I had some better ones than just that one. Let's see. So it will do some image correction, but I think the best thing to do is to get it into your computer and have it do that for you. Or, run it through your modern AI photo enhancements and everything, right? Like, you got all that technology now available to you. So hang on, let me see if I can find some more black and whites before we go on to the color ones. I got lots of color, because who doesn't have color negatives? But I was curious about the black and white performance, so we'll dive into that first. It's funny, I've not been through this bin of photos since the last time I did one of these products, so let's see if I can find any more. I have a binder somewhere. Of course, it's not going to be readily available right now, because why would that be convenient? Here's a big stack of them, but this is all color, I think. Yeah. There's some good ones in there, so we'll look at those. I thought I had more black and whites before I sat down here. I'll have to find the rest of the... Oh, there's some more black and whites in here. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so let's pull this one out. But what's attractive to me about this is... So I don't think so. It looks like it has like a connection mode that will allow you to connect it to the computer to transfer from the card, but it requires an SD card that's not included. All right, there's my mom's garage, circa 1994. Got an old TV in there. I think we were doing like some still life stuff in my photography class. There's the beach chairs. This one might be a fun one because it's a little blown out. So what we could try here is reduce the exposure. The controls seem like very, very abrupt. And actually of interest here is that this time when I hit the button, before it was bringing up that RGB control, and now it says brightness. So there might be a little bug in the firmware. These guys are not known for their high quality product line here. I'm seeing a little bit more detail here. So maybe I'll capture this one in 2 different brightness levels. Do it at this level. And then I'll make it a little bit brighter. Oh, I see. This is the RGB one. So you can adjust maybe the tone of the black and white. So this will matter more when we get to the other one in a little bit. And this is the brightness, so we'll brighten it up one notch here. All right. So I got some other ones in here too. Let's see what we. Excuse me. Here's one more black and white. Let's see. The 22 megapixel camera is impressive. That'd be nice if you have an old film. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what the quality looks like once we bring it into the computer. I'm going to scan a few more, and we'll go from there. But I believe it does do, let's see what the box says again. I had the box out here. So according to the box, it does 35, 110, and 126 along with 50 millimeter slides. So that's what it can do. And like I said, I've been disappointed by these types of products before, so I'm hoping that this one might do a little better. And I got this, I paid for this one my own funds through that flip thing that I've been doing. So this is the, oh, this is cool. This is the Essex steam train from way back in 1994. We must have You know, my friends and I used to drive around. We had this photography class, so we used to drive around just taking pictures of stuff. So this is like from 30 years ago. How about that? All right, we'll do that one. All right, so now we've got a couple of black and white examples. And what we'll do next is some color ones. So let's see what else we got in here. Well, there'll be a few more black and white ones worth looking at. Let's see. You know what's so funny is that when I pull out some of these negatives, I actually remember the days that we went and did this stuff. It's weird how you just get memories of these things. This is my street growing up in the winter. Nothing terribly exciting here. And the street still looks the same. They haven't repaved it since. There's some good detail in this one, so we'll try this one just to take a look and see how that comes out. Zoop. All right. Let's see how quick it could be. That's what got me excited. It's like this could be. Again, this is not going to be like your work of art. You know, you're not going to use this for commercial photography work or running your photo conversion business, but you know, you likely have a bunch of snapshots that are, you know, lousy pictures, but you know, good memories, right? That you just want to relive. And if you have, like, these negatives, none of these are great pictures, but there's just memories there that, you know, are the equivalent of taking a snapshot on your phone today. They're not, again, not works of art. So why go through the time and expense of something really fancy when you can just get something like this and like run them through? All right, so we're going to switch now to color negatives. We'll start with the 135, the 35 millimeter film. So now we're ready for color. Let's see what we get on the color side. Yeah, as I mentioned, Friend 39 at the outset, this is a Kodak scanner. And what you're going to see in the next few weeks, so I saw this at CES, there's an HP Sprocket one. So there's going to be an HP version of this that is the exact same thing. But it's going to be under the Sprocket name, also licensed. All right, here's a fun one. So when I graduated high school in June of 1994, we went to Hershey Park. That's my friend Dave. He was in a band, still is actually. So let's get this lined up here. It was one of those surprise things where they pick you up and drive you to, see, we graduated, then that night you get on a bus and you don't know where you're going. Now here's the funny thing about this trip. I was going to say, this Hershey Park trip, we had they held what's called a cow chip raffle. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with a cow chip raffle or not. That's funny. And sorry I sound so lousy. I'm recovering from COVID again. I'm a frequent flyer. So here's where you adjust the color. So you have RGB here. So they held the cow chip raffle. They raised so much money, because there was only like 26 of us in the graduating class. This is a public school, mind you. Very small class. We get off the bus at Hershey, Pennsylvania. They gave each of us $100 in cash. They had raffles of stuff on the bus the whole way down. And we got back, they gave us like another $50 because they raised so much money through this cow chip raffle. And if you're not familiar, a cow chip raffle is where you've got a cow on a field, and there's like a grid on the field. And they feed the cow. You know, the cow eats the grass like it usually does. And then you wait for the cow to poop. And then wherever it poops, you go to the grid where the poop landed, and whoever had the ticket for that grid is the winner. That's the cow chip raffle. So that year, my friends and I were going door to door selling. So I'm trying to figure out how to go back and forth on this. We went back and forth. We went door to door selling tickets for the cow chip raffle. So this setting here adjusts the RGB levels. Again, it's not like a perfect thing, and I think it's mostly automatic. I'm sorry my voice is so lousy, but you're just going to have to deal with it. And apparently there's some other exposure settings and stuff here, which I don't know how to get to yet. All right, so that's, did I take the picture? I can't remember. We'll just do another shot just to be safe. So now it's on the SD card. All right, so that one's fun. Let's see what else we got in here. I'm looking to see if we have any good ones of some technology products, but all right, this one is from college, it looks like. Let's see what's in this. These are pictures I've not seen in like forever. But you know, it's funny, it was so rare that you had a camera, right? Like, okay, so there's Dave again. So this is the band that they were in. That's Brian, Chris. And so they came to I had to come to my college to play a concert, which is pretty cool. That could be a good album cover, actually. That's Steve. I forgot who that guy is. So Chris, Dave, Brian, and Steve. He was a great singer. He had like this heavy metal voice to him. He was really good. So MSRP on this one is like $179. So it is a little clunky, but it's fast. And my camera is overexposing the screen. Let me turn my exposure down on the camera a little bit. But what I like about the concept, and we'll see what the image quality looks like in a minute, is that you can run through, line it up, hit the button, and capture it. So you're not doing a lot of this stuff. Like I looked at the, you know, some of those larger scanner units that do some really good image quality. You know, they capture it super high resolution, but there's so much setup, and you can't just like quickly jump through it. And you know what I've been thinking about with this stuff is that I've got a lot of pictures. Most of them are not great pictures. You know, like they're just lousy, but they're fun pictures. You know, they're fun memories that I don't need like the best quality scan. It just needs to be passable. Let's see, here's another one. This is from the same day. Let's put this one in real quick. So there's Anthony. They're still married. They got married, and they're still married. Let's see. This is all from. This is the spring of '95. I forgot what we called this event. It was like right before finals, I think, was what we did with this one. See there, I think turning the brightness down a bit makes a big difference. So I think you might find yourself like adjusting some of these, like I just did there. Yes, it will do mounted slides. I just don't have any mounted slides to do, but they do have a slide adapter for this, so you can pop them right in. All right, so let's try the 110. Let me see if there's anything else that's good in here that I can. I've got so many more negatives. So this could be like a fun winter project. You know, you go out and find, you know, again, we'll see what the quality is when we bring it over to the computer in a little bit. Here we do it. Here's a fun one. This is the beach. Nothing fancy, but so this is just damage on the negative. Unfortunately, these are very damaged negatives. Some chemical splotches. That would have been a nice picture otherwise. And here I was experimenting with higher shutter speed. I was fascinated with water. It's from my high school photography class. Let me get organized here. See if we can find anything else that's worth playing with. Again, these negatives are, you know, there's nothing. I should be using some Lyle gloves, some cotton gloves with this, but here's a fun one. Let's see. Here's one of Brian. If these guys are watching, they're going to be pissed at me. Putting them out on YouTube. Yeah, so this one you can see it's like a little, and this is what the photo looks like. A little too heavy on the blue, so I can go into the RGB. I gotta find the right button. And we can bring the blue down a little bit, I assume. Doesn't seem to be, oh, it's bringing down the level of the blue. He was kind of in a shadow, right? So that contributed to that. Yeah, so it's on-screen adjustments are not pro level. You know, it's quick and dirty. So my suggestion would be that maybe you leave it all in the default and have your computer do the bulk of the fixing. The only other issue with this is that it doesn't do lossless image formats. So it defaults to JPEG. So we're going to see what the what kind of compression artifacts we're going to see on this. So no, it was close to Hammonasset. That was in Westbrook. Yeah, so I don't know what I've got for. I know I've got like 110 at my mother's house because when I was like my daughter's age, my third grader's age, I had a 110 camera that I took a lot of pictures on because those cameras were so easy. I think I had to get those flash cubes. You put the flash cube in, you get one shot, then it would blow out. Then you had to get another one. Where you had to like rotate it. Here's one more. Let's see what this one is. I just saw a bum sweatshirt, which I remember from that era. Now they also have a this thing for cleaning the lens underneath, because you will be pushing things through that could transport dirt. That's Steve falling asleep there. Oh wow! So there's I forgot her name. His name is Noel, and that's my friend Rob McCary. I still keep in touch with all these folks. But you can see it's adjusting the image automatically as it goes through. Do you see that? So watch as I pull this one through and starts the next one. The color temper actually looks better on the... That's cool. All right. Yeah, so that was the spring of 1995 you just saw. That's when I was a freshman in college. Okay, so let's collect some of these negatives. I'm mixing them all up here too, but it doesn't really matter. I have prints of all these too, so. And then I think I've got the 110 in here. Yep, these are a bunch of 110s. Now, if I remember correctly, there may not be very good images on these because, actually, no, there are some good images, potentially. So, I can't remember what year it was, but one of these photo places, like you could send in and just get the negatives. So I had a bunch of like film that I had found that was exposed and not developed. So, and this is how you do the 110. So I had sent off a bunch of film, and some of it didn't come out that great. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the 35 millimeter thing out, and we're going to put in this one, snap it shut, and you slide it back into the unit here. So again, this is not like pro level gear, but does it need to be? If you just got a bunch of crappy snapshots from the 80s, right? Okay, so I think this one looks like it's got. Actually, this might not be too. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, hang on. This one's crazy. I'm going to slide it through this way because that's the way this film is going. Wait until you see this one. I can't believe this. This is from my 7th grade trip to New York City in probably 1989. Oh, I got to go in this way. All right, we'll do it. Okay, this is going to be a good one. All right, so we'll go and hit film type, color negative. This time we're going to select 110. I have 126 at my mom's place, so I will try to get some other examples. Wait until you see these pictures. So this is 110. So we went to the Statue of Liberty that day. We took the ferry out there. I still remember that. And on the ferry, we ran into some stars of the Nickelodeon show. that I used to watch. It was really funny. And Nicholas is in Queens, not far from New York City. Yeah, I go into New York City quite a bit. I live in Connecticut. So Ted, unfortunately, I don't have slides to demo today. So I'm going to try to get some before I do the full review. I'll have to ask my wife and see if we have any upstairs, but I don't recall having any nearby. All right, wait till you see this next one. Oh, no, not this one. That's the Statue of Liberty again from the from the pedestal. We'll dial that one in too. All right, here's the one I wanted to show you. Look at this. Oh, not this one. Look at that. So when we took the ferry, we had the Twin Towers. Isn't that cool? That's neat. I forgot about this roll. Let's see. There's another one. Let's see what we got on this one. I don't know what we're going to find on here. Let's see. It's nothing inappropriate. I'm not that interesting. At least not that I know of. Let's see. This is more from that same trip. I'm not sure what that's from. Oh, that's the UN. We went to the UN also, I think. I don't know what that's from. I have no idea what I'm looking at there. Oh, here's another one of the towers. Let's put this back in. Let's see what we get. My uncle, so here's the Statue of Liberty, again from the ferry. So this is probably 1989, if I had to guess, or 88 maybe. And the 110 film is not great to begin with. So I got to find some more examples of the 110 in the slides. This is a fun find. I didn't realize this was in here. And what happened with this film is that this went undeveloped for a long time. So I didn't get this developed until probably 7 or 8 years after these photos were taken. There's the statue. So you don't see many Statue of Liberty pictures from behind, right? That's a keeper. Oh. Get stuck in there because there's nothing else interesting in that one. Let's see what's in this next one here. Oh, here's some cool ones. Let's see. I think I see my mom. Oh, it's a whole class. Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one to send out to some friends here. Let's see what this one is. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. That's me and my buddies. That's Jed Fuller. Jed or Jason, they were twins. I don't know which one is which. There's Dana, there's Dave. That's Dana. Who's that? I don't know who that is. I took the picture likely. That's so cool. I think this might be my mom. Let's see if she's in here. So the only problem you run into is when the pictures are, so I think that's when this little poker thing might come in handy. Because if you don't have a lot of room to play with, it's hard to get the picture all the way through on this because I can't quite grab, oh, I can grab it on the other end here. There we go. Oh, there's my mom. That's pretty cool. That's my mom from like 1988. Here's my microscope. What's that bin? That's cool. Pretty neat. Yeah, so this was film that had been exposed and then was not developed for quite a long time. Yeah, so what this does is it'll run a positive if you have slides or the negative if you have a negative. So I'm just looking through this bin here. I don't think I have any slides in here. You know what I will do is I'll text my wife and see if she's got anything upstairs that I can grab. Then we'll look at the quality of the images. That's cool. Let's see if I have any other 110 in here. I don't think I do. Want something else that's pretty cool? So this is my Apple IIc in its native environment back in 1988. Isn't that cool? So we were playing this game called the Halley Project, and it was a very difficult game. Like, you had to learn how to navigate through the solar system. So we landed on Titan. And I was so excited that I took a picture of it to prove to my friends that I was able to land on Titan. Here's Io. Now this looks like the photo that, so this is the print that we looked at a few minutes ago. So it'll be interesting to see how the scan comes out in relation to that. Now my wife, believe it or not, when she was in high school, worked at a photo developing place. And so there was a lot of adjustment that they would make just when they developed the pictures, especially for color. Yeah, so this is good. This is the source of all those things. So you saw that one where it was like super blue. You know, that print looks a lot better. So we'll see. And actually, it may have been this one. See how the exposure is off on that? So again, your source material is going to determine a lot. But again, like, this is not like the most groundbreaking scanning device you'll ever see. So let me check and see. I'll text my wife and see if we have any. Yeah, so you do have very limited color correction. It's just RGB. So I think it might be best to go with the default and then bring it over, which is what we're going to do in a minute here. All right. Let me text her real quick and see if we have any. If not, I know I've got some at my mom's place. Let's see. All right, let's see if my wife has anything. Okay, so in the meantime, why don't we pull the card on this? Now, you could also hook this up to HDMI, which we could try as well. So you can actually just look at it on a TV screen, which actually might be better for capturing. You can get a better feel of the image. But I'm going to pull the SD card out here and pop it in my computer. And let me do a... And for those just tuning in, I've been dealing with my little one infected me with COVID. So I'm feeling much better. I was like done all week. It's a rough week. All right, let's see if I can find where the pictures got dropped off. I have no idea where I put the photos, so I'm looking on my... Okay, here we go. All right. So we're going to pull up some of these images that we just scanned on the computer. Let's take a look. And what I'm going to do before that is... Bear with me for 1 minute here. Yeah, I'll run over to my mom's place and grab that when I'm not contagious. All right, so let's take a look. So here's what we scanned, I think. Yeah, so it's all a little washed out. We saw the color issues with this one. I mean, it's not bad. I think the color the auto color correction is definitely in need of some work. Now these are the black and white ones. And you're going to have issues too. You know, I'll pull up the image here. So this is at, let's go to actual size. So you can see the native resolution. Now it does do some interpolation. So my understanding is that the sensor is 14 megapixels, but it'll interpolate to 22. And that's kind of par for the course with these devices, even with scanners. You get interpolation. But what I'm looking for is noise in the darker areas, and it's not bad. I mean, you can see some of the JPEG artifacts in here. That's why I would have preferred that it has like a TIFF setting or something that wasn't compressed. And you can see there's some blooming on the outside of the image here too. Take a look at some other ones here. So this was the one where we took it a notch down and a notch up. But yeah, it's noisy as hell. That's too bad. Yeah, so it kind of has some of the problems that some of these other ones have had, in that the detail just isn't there, especially for an image like this that has a lot of sharp detail to it. And this is not an effect of the film. This is how it captured. So I wonder if it would take a raw image without compressing it, if it might look different. Because these images are, actually they're pretty big in size, so there's a lot of interpolation going around. I wonder if we use, there's actually a lower setting. Let me turn it back on here. There's actually a lower setting for the quality. At least I saw it on the other one that I looked at. So I think we can adjust that. Let's see, go back home here. Because I think we can adjust the overall resolution. Oops. Bear with me, everybody. I'll have to look it up. So I wonder if we turn it down from, it sounds counterproductive, but if we turn it down from 22, but there's just no detail in any of this. But check it out. See that box? That is from the CD-ROM drive that I bought in 1992. Oh, look at this. This is the box. Do I have it on the shelf still? Yes. All right, so this box up here, let's see if I can find the other image here. Maybe it looked a little better. You're all going to get a kick out of this. No, it doesn't look any better on that one. Okay, so this box where it says practical modem, so that is the box for this. This was my 14.4 modem that I got in '94 from Practical Peripherals. It had this cool digital readout that would tell you like what speed you were connecting at. Isn't that cool? I keep it on the shelf here. It's usually off camera, but that was how I did all of my interneting and BBSing. Yeah, so I think that's something we're going to look at, is looking at turning the resolution down. Let's see how the colored images look. All right, here's another black and white one. Yeah, so you can see there's just a lot of noise, and look at, ooh, it looks awful. And we looked at a similar device from a year or two ago, or maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it had some of these same issues where you'd get this kind of nasty, noisy crap. That's disappointing. Yeah, it doesn't look that great either. The blurriness the softness is due, I think, to the photographer, which was me back in the day. We'll see if these color images do any better. Get a little overexposed. This one's a little on the red side. But again, you're seeing like the noise. Here, I'll view it at the actual size. So this is the actual image, you know, the native size of it. And you can see there's just so much noise everywhere. So that's disappointing. For this price, I'm disappointed. Womp womp. Let's see. This one we can adjust the color on. I'll load this up in Pixelmator in a little bit. Apple Photos might actually do an okay job with these. This is from the 110 film. The 110 one actually looks okay. But again, you can just see there's just no detail. So what we might try here is turning it down to like the native resolution of the sensor and not have all this interpolation going on. And that might be what's introducing the noise here. Gosh, that's Brian. That's Dave. That's Dana. I think that's Luke. That's Eric. That's one of the Fuller brothers. Gosh, who is that? I forgot his name. And that might be Matt. This kid Matt was taking a picture of me. So he's got a picture somewhere of me taking a picture of him. Yeah, okay, there's the, so maybe that is the other Fuller brother. Yeah, that's one Fuller and that's the other Fuller. I don't know who's who in this picture. They're all like, you know, middle school age, so it's hard to tell. But again, we've got just a lot of noise. So look at his face. Oof. It's like a lattice work. Let's go and look at actual size again. Yeah, so this is the... Now this is a damaged piece of the negative right there. But you can see his face is just not... I'll zoom in further here. You can just see it. Just no detail. That's Ryan Wright. That's who that is. Yeah, so let's take a look at the manual. Let's see if we can turn down the resolution. Now I'll go back to your questions here. Yep. It's hard to make gold from crap. That's right. Garbage in, garbage out, right? That is true. Yeah, I think that's it. So the yeah, that was actually my freshman dorm building in Hartford. And those buildings are like, they're built to last because I was up there recently. The buildings are 30 years, they were old when I was there, and they're 30 years older. They're still exactly the same. They haven't, like they started aging and then they stopped. Oh, choosing image resolution. There are two options you can choose from. So you can choose the resolution by, okay. All right, so why don't we try that? So we'll just do one more photo and then, yeah, I'm old. But yeah, that was exciting when I got that CD-ROM drive. That one was the NEC. You had to use the caddies with it, and it was a double spin drive, so it spun twice as fast as like the CD-ROMs that came before it. It was a lightning thing. All right, so we're gonna put the SD card back in. Now I found when you put the SD card in, it turns itself off. How about that? All right, so let me find another. We'll do another 35 millimeter picture here. All right, here we go. You know, this will be in honor of my dorm. I've got another picture of my college dorm, so let's try this one. All right, so we'll fire it back up. We're going to turn the resolution down now to the 14 megapixels. So film type, color negative. We'll go back to 135. And what I'm going to do here is, oh, I see. So if you hit that button once, it goes from one to the other. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So now we were at 22. Now we're going to be at 14. Let's see if that makes it any different. Oh, I got to change the thing out. Hang on. So we got to pop this out and put the 35 millimeter one back in. Yeah, so I was hoping for a little bit better than what I'm seeing here. Now they've got some other thing that I guess you can use your phone. I think I still have it somewhere. All right, that's my sister from her prom day there. That's my roommate Jim. I hope he's not watching. He tunes in every once in a while. All right, so let's try this one and see what we get. Because we actually got some good detail on this one, so. All right, so now we'll try this one at 14 megapixels, and we'll pop the card out and see how it looks. I'll do maybe one more at this resolution too, just so we have a basis of comparison here. Oh, this is fun with some of my college friends. Let's try. You know, it's funny. I have so few pictures from a bulk of my time in college because it was expensive to take pictures. All right, let's see how this comes out. Johan might be tuning in too. So that's Johan. That's Sharon, Anthony. All right, so let's take a picture. All right. And it looks different, like the color temperature of the screen looks different than what the output of the images actually looks like. All right, so let's pop this in. And let's see what we get. Give me 1 second to pull up the... this might be a little better. Let's see. Hang on. Again, remember, we got crappy old negatives here, so that's contributing to some of the shadiness of the images. But let's pull up the screen here so you can see it. Yeah, actually, this is it's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. So it's doing some interpolation. So the tree is lacking some detail. It's a little pixely. I got some noise here on the edges. It may be hard to see on the stream because it's compressing it, but this picture was from 1994. So these are the kind of cars that college kids were driving. So you had your Honda Civic, that was a classic. That's a Saab. Got your Toyota. Is that a Toyota Camry or a Nissan Maxima? I can't tell. I think it's a Toyota Camry. Jeeps are iconic. They never change. There's your Chevy, whatever it was. Got an Oldsmobile. All right, let's take a look at the other one here. That one actually looks pretty good. Anthony's going to kill me if he tunes in right now. I didn't see him doing that. It's still noisy, as you can see when I pull in, but it actually looks better at the lower resolution. Like this one I could put on Facebook and it would look decent. And again, this picture is much better exposed, so it actually looks better on my screen than you're seeing it right now for some reason. A little darker on my output. But this one actually doesn't look bad. Let me zoom in on his shirt. Yes, it gets noisy in here, but it's far less noisy than it was before. So I would say run it at the 14 megapixel. So that might be something we play around with. Let me take a few more. Maybe we'll do a few more pictures out of it. Yeah, that picture was literally now over 30 years. So that was 30 years old. Yeah, so that was like 90, 95. That's when those pictures were taken. Yeah, my friends came up, so I was taking pictures for their. They were shopping a demo tape around, so I was taking pictures of them doing the band and stuff. And it's expensive to take pictures. Like you had to buy the film and you had to do the developing. So, a roll of film. Even then, a roll of film was like $5 or $6. The developing was just as much. And then depending on how many things you wanted, right? So and even if you didn't even want prints, you still had to get it developed. So it was expensive. Let's try a few more here from that day. All right, so let's power it back on here. I will say, like, as toxic as Facebook can be, it's kind of nice because you still have a connection to everybody. You don't talk to them every day, but like you're connected to them, right? Like it's Okay, so let's go back to film type, color negative. We're going to do the 135. And I actually remembered my settings from where we were before, so that's helpful. Excuse me. Here's some more cards. Let's try this one. You got your old, is that a Beamer? Looks like a Mercedes back end, but I think that's a BMW. All right, so let's do this one. This is what I would do if I had like a weekend just to scan stuff. That's another version of what we scanned earlier. The color looks much better now. So you grab it, move on to the next one. So the velocity here, I kind of like the velocity that you can do with this. Got the harmonica guy, a little Blues Traveler tribute kind of deal there. Blues Traveler actually played at my school that year. That's kind of cool. Again, this is all 30 years ago, 1995. Line it up, hit the button. Where are they now? Yeah, it's funny how much planning went into that. Here, I'll do one more, and then we'll take a look again. Yeah, so I think the setting here is the 14 megapixel setting is the right one. All right, so there's the whole band. The band was called Ugly Kid Joe. No, wait, talk about Ugly Kid Joe. No, that was not their band. Yeah, so I'm getting some questions about slides. It does support slides. They have a slide adapter. I just don't have any slides handy right now, but I will, when I review it, I will have slides that I will test with it. But it definitely works with slides. I'm trying to find another good example where we can see if there's any real noise to speak of. I will say there's something kind of cool about negatives because they really capture a moment in time. Now, okay, so now I've got some dirt visible. So let's see if I can clean that off. Oh, yeah, it worked. So you use the little dirt cleaner here, and that gets your dirt off. Because you will be getting dirt on these things because of the fact that you're pushing dirty old negatives through your... So if I don't have slides, but if I had slides, you just put them in the tray here. And the emulsion side is down on these, so you put the glossier side up. That's a cool picture. Yes, I think some of these are going to look better like just on the screen or if you're using the HDMI. Oh yeah, I loved the flannel back then. Yes, they had a cassette audio. I'm trying to remember what did they call their band? I cannot remember for the life of me what they called the band. I have the tape somewhere too. Because Missing Joe, they were called Missing Joe at one point, but not then. You got your Jeep Grand Cherokee there, it looks like. All right, let me do one more, and then we'll see how it all comes out. But yeah, I think the lower setting is going to do a little better for you. Here's some more flavor of the day. I just love the cars. All right, let me see if I have anything else in the box here that might be fun to look at. Then let's see, I found this one. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, here's a good one. So this is from, oh, is it? Oh yeah, it's in here. Oh my gosh, okay, let me pull this one up. This one's a fun one. So were any of you a fan of the Imus in the Morning radio show? So this is before all his unfortunate comments were made, but I was a big fan of Imus in the Morning for a long time, and this is his brother Fred. So we were on a family vacation. We went to Auto Body Express, which was his brother Fred, where they would do all the stuff there. So let's capture that one. And M. Paquette says, "I see your old Macs." Yeah, so these are all of them are working for the most part. That's an Apple IIgs actually, but the other one's a Mac SE30. Well, that's cool. I'm glad I found this picture. Yeah, this was like 98. And I had a digital camera at that point. I think I might be holding it. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't get the digital camera yet. No, I wasn't. That's right. This is before. I got the digital camera when I got back from that trip. So I got a Kodak DC-1. My first digital camera was actually a Kodak. But this was the Auto Body Express as they were kind of gearing up from him having this auto shop. This was Imus's brother who would be on the show all the time. And they started selling like shirts and merch basically for Auto Body Express. And so Imus got the Chrysler or the Jeep dealers to sponsor his brother pitching the merch on the radio. That's kind of funny. That's my dog Sophie. Yeah, no phones. I had one though. I had a flip phone. In fact, it's not the same one, but where is it? Yeah, it's right. I'm blocking it. See it next to the iPod right down there? That's the phone I had. That's not the same. That's not the phone I had, but I had a similar. Yeah, I should just do something where I just pull up my old photos and we scan them. I have so many. When in high school, I really got into photography, and it's become a lifelong love. I love taking pictures. I take pictures mostly with my phone these days, but yeah. So that was Sophie when she was a pup, and of course Sophie died about 10 years ago. And I have a husky now. So Sophie actually lived to 17. That dog had life. And she was in pretty good shape right up to the end. That's my sister. There's my brother. So that's when we were in Santa Fe. And there's Sophie. She was a good dog. She was like a supreme alpha. So she would continually, she wasn't aggressive or anything, but she would always like test your leadership. Kind of funny how that played out. But I think you get the idea as to how this works. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to find a few more pictures here that make sense to look at here. We went to the Grand Canyon on that trip too. This is all like 97, I think, was what these were. Yes, there's the Grand Canyon for my trip. Yeah, we took this little plane out there from Las Vegas. We flew from Las Vegas to the Grand Canyon on like a little twin-engine plane. Yeah, so my first digital was a Kodak DC-120, and I sent it to somebody at work to use when I got a new camera, and I regret doing it because It wasn't like the world's greatest digital camera, but it was my first one. And boy, did I take pictures on that on that one. So like my whole senior year of high school, I've got college, I have so many pictures. That was 1998. That camera in 1998, it cost me $700. So it was not cheap. But the savings in film, made up for it. And I'm so glad I had it because like you have these great memories now of, it was not normal to have pictures of everything. So Denise is wondering, and by the way, I'm drinking Gatorade because I'm getting over COVID. My little one got me sick. I'm just checking the chat on Amazon. Let's see. Yeah, so Denise asks, does it send them to your computer? No. So I think there is an option. Let me look and see here. There was an option, I think, for some USB things. What you have to do is take the SD card out and move it over. There is a USB upload, so I think it'll mount the card on your computer. But you need to have the card inserted. But my preference is just take the card out and put it in the computer. It's a lot faster. And you have to deal with menus and everything. So M. Paquette says, wonder how long they've been around. These have been around for a while. They're not great. As you saw, the noise the pictures are not going to be rivaling what you're going to get from a proper scanner. What you got is a relatively low-end digital sensor inside of this thing. But I'm finding that the lower resolution setting works better. David Hendry wants to know, does it work with an iPad? It works with anything. So all you got to do is just get the SD card into what you're plugging it into. So if you have an iPad Pro, get a card reader for it and pop the SD card and it'll show up like a digital camera card. So it gives you, the file structure is exactly like a digital camera would be. All right, so let's take a look and see how these came out now that we did a bunch. So that was the last round. So this again is this is now the 14 megapixel setting. So the lower resolution setting is actually better. It's less noisy. And again, these are not great pictures. So, let's face it, if you are a serious photographer, you're not going to buy this thing to scan your works of art. But for something like this, it's fine. It actually came out pretty nice. Let's take a look at the next one here. Yeah, so as you zoom in, you're going to see, so if you had a better scanner, you're not going to get all this noise around the edges and stuff. I'll give you the actual size here. But I think it looks better. Again, not perfect. You can see some of the noise on the edges. But, if you were looking to just get some photos brought in quickly without spending a fortune, I think it'll accomplish that. There's a Subaru. Is that an old Buick or old Oldsmobile? See the old Connecticut plate, the blue ones? They don't have those anymore. Let's see here. Yeah, it's passable. I think if you had these printed from the digital, you would see some, the quality would not be as good as taking the negative and having it developed properly. So I think there's still some value to getting it professionally scanned or getting a higher end scanner. But again, if you're just looking for, these photos are not something I'm going to spend a lot of money. I just want to have them stored somewhere. Here's the band. And back then, you took the picture and then you had to wait until you developed it to see if it actually came out okay. So you didn't have the immediate feedback. When I got my first digital SLR, it was amazing to take a picture, run back. I learned so much more about exposure with that camera than I did throughout my entire 2 years of high school photography. This one looks pretty good, actually. This one has a little depth of field also. I wasn't quite up on my depth of field yet when I was taking these pictures, but that brick is blurry because I probably shot at f4. But he's nice and sharp there. Again, as you come in, you start to see, you see the noise. But if you're on your phone, it looks fine. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, so what's he drinking there? Yeah, the 14 megapixel setting is actually better. It's just not something I'm going to recommend, for professionals to use. But if you're posting it on your Instagram or something, it's going to be fine for that. Then you can go in, of course, and adjust and your computer's going to have so much more available on the adjustment side. And this is just the Mac image viewer, so you have a lot more options if you wanted to do something more. She was a crazy dog. You know what's funny with Huskies is that when they're younger, their tails will curl over their back, and as they get older, they don't curl the tail up any longer. So my current one, she's almost 12, and her tail stopped doing that too. It's a good dog. They're all crazy though. Like you have to keep them active. Yeah. So here you can see, like I had the whatever that stuff is focused better than the. Yeah. So I was leaning against recommending this at all, but now I'm thinking, you know what? It's not as bad if you run it at the 14 megapixel setting. Now this picture was already overexposed, right? But we can work on it a little bit here. Yeah, I think it's decent enough. If it was a little less expensive, I think I'd be even more excited about it. But you got so much more on the computer that you can work with here. I still have that sweatshirt, by the way. There's my brother. So he bought the so Fred Imus, that's who this guy is. My brother bought a hat of his dog. His dog was named Four-Legged Fred. And if you go on YouTube, there's a guy that's been uploading full shows of Imus from like at his peak in the 90s. It was a really good. It was a really good show. But yeah, you can see what you can do with it after you bring it into the computer. And then if you go into like Photoshop or I use Pixelmator on the Mac, so much better. But you can see the adjustments you can make here. Actually looks better in sepia. So he's unfortunately passed away. His brother passed away also. So it's like their whole thing is they're both gone. But they were funny. They were really funny before all the stuff happened. But there you go. Yeah, so I'll probably review this in the next couple of days. And let me see what I got for photos here. Or questions. Kev K says 14. Yeah, I think so. And actually, I think that's the native resolution of the sensor. So if I let me look at the box here. They have the specs on the box. Okay, so the image sensor is actually 13 megapixels. And it goes up to 22 via interpolation. So I think that interpolation is what we were seeing before. So it's a lot less noisy if you go with the other one. But there are services that you can just send, like a whole box to them, and they'll just scan it for you. But then you lose possession of your photos for a while. Yeah, so I've got a big blob of data that I've been carrying around with me since 1982. So it's on my NAS right now. So. Yeah, I think I liked when on MSNBC when it was more like. It felt like more raw radio when they first started, and then when they when they gave him the higher end set, it lacked that. I think when their studio was smaller, there was a little bit more of the original show there. If you go on YouTube, you'll find it's actually funny. So I got a call. Let me tell you about this Imus thing. Why it's been top of mind lately. I got a call from a Washington Post reporter, and I had done a video about podcasting, and so he called me. This is a while ago. I was teaching a college class, and I was taking my lectures and just making videos out of it, because why not, right? I'm already doing the work. So he called me up, this reporter, and he's like, hey, what's the deal with podcasters doing video lately? And something triggered in my brain when he called me. I'm like, this is not new. I said, Imus was doing this back in the 90s when C-SPAN, so what happened was C-SPAN actually called or went to WFAN in New York and simulcasted Imus's radio show. And no one thought it would be, like, C-SPAN did it because nobody thought there was an audience for watching some guy do a radio show. Radio's radio, television's television. Turns out it was one of the most popular things that C-SPAN ever did. And the reporter called the guy at C-SPAN that set it up and had a whole conversation. So it was funny, like, I take full credit for this. I don't like to usually say it's all me that did it, but this time I can say that it was. So he calls the guy from C-SPAN, and he's like, oh my God, we did this thing, and then, they got call after call after call, so much so that they did it like 4 or 5 more times. And then when MSNBC was rolling out, they were looking for new and different things to do. And so they made the offer and put Imus on every morning in that 7 a or 6 or 7 a.m. slot, which is now the Morning Joe show, who took over that slot after they took Imus off the air. But it was funny, and I was just thinking about that. I was like, that was the beginning of this podcaster video thing, where you've got the big microphone, and right, like back in, I have my lavalier because back when I was learning TV, you used the lavalier. You didn't have a big microphone in your face. So that was yeah. So everybody in the morning, it was like, and there was a time when, again, he said some inappropriate things that ended up tanking he got some of his career back, but it was never the same after that. But on WFAN, like that show, here's what I liked about the show. He was cantankerous, he was cranky. The humor, I don't think would work today. There was different time. And the humor was mostly from, the inappropriate comments were coming mostly from his cohorts. He had this chemistry of people around him that made the show work. He was the cranky guy. All of his people on the show with him would just tweak him up all day long. It was fun. And what was neat about the show was that he covered a lot of political news, but he got everybody on the show. And it was never like, people had their messages that they wanted to send, but generally, Democrat or Republican, they were very good about stating their position, but not the denigration that you get on a lot of talk radio. Even at the time when talk radio was becoming more and more, toxic or vitriolic. He had his moments, but he was never like a sharp left or right kind of guy. Granted, he was in love with Clinton and then fell out of love with Clinton. But it was all good fun. But it was fun, but you got informed. And I think that's what's missing from our news cycle now, is that you can have fun covering partisan politics in a way that you can inform people. And that was the magic of that show. And then everything went to what. So yeah, I'll try that. I'll see if I can. That's true, because you might be able to see some online AI image sharpening. I'll poke around with some of those. Yeah, this is exactly what I would say. It's just good enough. So here's my bottom line with this, and I got to run because I got to get on a meeting call in a few minutes. If your goal here is to share some old photos on Facebook or Instagram, this is going to do fine. It's better than prior versions of these types of things that I've looked at. Keep the resolution at 14 versus 24 megapixels. Believe it or not, the lower resolution looks better, and it's great. But it is not, and I'll put your comment up because you summed it up exactly how I would describe it. It is just good enough, but it's not great for real archival for valuable pictures. So you're not gonna, you put your wedding photos in here, but they're not going to look great. So there you go. Blimey wants to know, yes, so by my count, I've been infected definitely twice, possibly 4 times. So we had that CES trip in 2020 where I was like deathly ill when I got home. So yeah, each time that I've gotten it, it's gotten less severe. This time it was mild by how it was in 21 when I was really knocked out for a while. But it still like drains you. So I got it on Sunday night. And today's the first day where I actually had the energy to sit down and actually do any work. So it's been, yeah, I've been going out of my mind. So, yeah, I think the problem is that, you know, what's happened with mainstream news is that they keep chasing these crazy stories and this sensationalism to the point where, you know, it's not fun anymore. Like I would tune into Imus, and here's what I've been doing with his show. Go on YouTube and just search for it. There's a guy, I think his YouTube channel is called Box of Tapes or something. He's been uploading some of the best era of Imus on his channel. He's got dozens of hours of it. Download it, put it on in your car in the morning and just drive around. And first of all, you're going to discover that all of the big issues of today are the same ones that we had 30 years ago because nobody solved any problems. That's part of our problem. But it was also the show was fun. You had people across the political spectrum. Like he had Pat Buchanan on, you know what I mean? Like it was not just liberal or conservative or moderate. It was all of the above, but everybody was there and intelligent and fun. He had Mary Matlin and James Carville were on. Oftentimes he'd have Carville on and Mary Matlin would pick up the phone because she's married to him. She was the one that ran Bush's campaign when he was running. So it was just fun, and it was informative. And I think that's what's missing is that thing. I've always wanted to try to do something that's fun and informative one of these days. But yeah, I think you could get there again, even in the toxic environment we're in. But meanwhile, we're talking about Kodak photo scanners. So in any event, I got to get going here because I've got to get ready for my call here for my school board thing that I've got coming up. And but yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. By the way, WFAN is still pretty popular in this neck of the woods. You know, they're a 50,000 watt sports station. And when they do the traffic report, they still play the Dragnet theme, which they've been doing for like 40 years. It's hysterical. But yeah, I prefer to I think what made Imus work at that period of time was that he didn't fall into the trap of carrying the water for any particular political position. And, you know, the people that came on knew he wanted them to be fun, but informative. And it was good stuff. Yeah, 660. So the deal was in the summer, my father and I would work at my dad's office. So we would drive, the office was a half hour away. So he would pick me up. It was 6:60 a.m. in the morning and 8:80 on the way home. So 8:80 just went off the air, WCBS. News Radio 88. That was our ride home. And I've gotten to know Joe Connolly, who's the business guy. He actually is local to me here, so we've talked before. It's pretty cool. All right, everybody. I am going to sign off, and hopefully this gave you a good idea as to what this thing's about. I think it's better than I expected, so that's something. And again, it's great for snapshots, not great for archival. But if you just have a bunch of crappy negatives you want to scan and share with some friends, I think it's going to be fine. It's fine at the lower resolution. All right, everybody. I am going to go and get ready for this meeting, but I'm feeling better, so you should start seeing me more often now. I got something else that just came in that I think you'll all like, so I'm going to probably pop on live with that maybe tomorrow. Then I'll try to start recording something again. So, yeah, we're getting there. All right, everybody. have a good afternoon, and I will see you on the next one. Alrighty? Talk to you all soon. I'm feeling great. See you soon. Bye-bye.